Have you ever watched someone else move forward while your own life feels as if it's been put on pause? Not because you aren't capable, but because you've waited too long, waiting until you feel ready, waiting for a more perfect moment. And then one day, you suddenly realize you didn't choose wrong. You just chose safe. And that safety, somewhere along the way, became a cage until something happened that made all that stability disappear in just a few lines of text. This is the story of a man like that. Daniel Brooks, 32 years old, living in Denver, Colorado, in a one-bedroom apartment overlooking a parking lot. 5 years ago, Daniel was the promising one, top of his business class, confident, natural leadership ability. Everyone said, he's going to do something big. He believed it too. But somewhere between 27 and 32, things stalled. His best friend Ryan sold his startup. His younger sister bought a house before he did. A college friend became a partner at a consulting firm. And Daniel, still in the operations job he once called temporary. Temporary became safe. Safe became familiar. Familiar became a cage. 5 years earlier, he had turned down an opportunity to join a fast-growing startup because the salary was unstable. "I'll join when I'm better prepared," he told himself. He chose a stable operations job instead. In that startup, Ryan became one of the first employees. Daniel tried not to think about it until the email arrived. Subject line: organizational restructuring. His department was being downsized. His position would be eliminated in 60 days. 5 years of safety, gone in a paragraph. He stared at the screen. His heart pounded, not just from fear, but from realization. The very thing he had tried to avoid, uncertainty, had found him anyway. That night he opened LinkedIn. Ryan had posted about raising their Series C round. There was a photo of the original team. The fourth chair had once been offered to Daniel. He zoomed in on the image, not out of jealousy, but because he saw the cost of hesitation. He didn't choose wrong. He chose small, and small did not protect him. 2 days later, he called Ryan and asked, "What did I miss?" Ryan answered honestly, "You missed the uncertainty. You missed the long nights. But you also missed the growth. We were scared too. We just kept moving. We just kept moving." That sentence replayed in Daniel's head all night. He sat in his dark apartment, staring at the stack of notebooks neatly arranged on his desk. 5 of them, each filled with notes about products he once wanted to build, market analysis, interface sketches, revenue models, even a list of potential customers. He didn't lack ideas. He didn't lack knowledge. He lacked something else: the courage to begin before feeling certain. For 5 years, every time he thought about starting a business, he told himself, "I need to understand marketing better. I don't have enough capital yet. I'm not ready to fail publicly." He took another course, read another book, watched another seminar. He called it preparation. But deep down, he knew he was postponing fear, afraid of starting and discovering he wasn't as capable as he thought, afraid of trying and being rejected, afraid of leaving the label full of potential to become the one who's struggling. Now, with only 60 days left at his job, he no longer had the luxury of delay. If he didn't act now, he would simply find another job just like the old one. And the cycle would continue for another 5 years. He looked in the mirror and asked himself a question he had never dared to ask. If I fall now, do I still have time to stand back up? The answer was yes. If I wait 10 more years and then fall, The answer was, maybe not. Time does not last forever. Passion is not immortal. The ability to take risks at 32 is very different from at 42. That night, Daniel did not write a 20-page business plan. He opened his laptop, registered the domain name for the inventory management software idea he had been sitting on, clicked pay, $14.99. It was a small moment, but it was the first time in 5 years he did not choose wait a little longer. He chose action. The weeks that followed were a shock. He still worked during the day, but at night, he built the first version of his product. He realized theoretical knowledge didn't help as much as he thought. Code didn't run like it did on presentation slides. Market assumptions didn't match reality. Features he thought were brilliant confused users. He brought a demo to a small shop owner he knew. After watching it, the owner paused and said, "I don't understand what this is supposed to do." That sentence hit 5 years of accumulated confidence. That night, he almost quit. Maybe I was right to wait. Maybe I'm truly not ready. But he remembered LinkedIn, the empty chair, and he realized something else. The cost of starting late is not lack of knowledge. The cost is learning under pressure. He didn't have 5 more years to think. He had 60 days, so he did what he had avoided for 5 years. He called potential customers and asked directly what they actually needed. He cut half the features, redesigned the interface from scratch, slept 4 hours a night. After 1 month, he had 3 paying trial customers. Then, a bigger problem came. A well-funded competitor launched a similar product. Better design, stronger marketing. 2 of his 3 customers left to try theirs. Daniel stared at his screen as his revenue nearly dropped to 0. This was the cost of starting late. He was competing against people with capital and teams. One night, he opened his financial spreadsheet. If he didn't gain new customers in 3 months, his savings would be gone. He could stop, go back to another job, stable, safe. But he asked himself, if I go back now, will I forgive this decision 5 years from now? The answer chilled him, no. So he chose the harder path. Instead of competing directly with the big company, he focused on a very narrow niche, family-owned stores that couldn't afford large solutions. He visited them in person, talked face-to-face, no flashy ads, just solving their real problems, one customer at a time. Slow, hard, raw. 3 months later, he had 12 customers, 12 late-night proposals, countless pricing adjustments after clients said it was too expensive. Calls where he had to learn not to speak too fast because he was nervous. Some weeks, he slept only 4 hours a night. Some days he checked his bank account and saw the money shrinking faster than the customer list was growing. He worked while still afraid. He learned while still building. And each of those early customers didn't just pay for his service. They gave him something else, proof that he could stand on his own 2 feet. 6 months later, that number became 40. But 40 customers didn't mean easy. The workload quadrupled. He delivered the service, handled customer support, did his own marketing, and managed accounting. One major client nearly canceled at the last minute after finding a cheaper provider. That contract represented almost 25% of his monthly revenue. He sat in silence for 20 minutes after the call. All the old fears returned. I should have just found another stable job. But he opened his laptop, rewrote his pricing strategy, focused on value instead of competing on price. He began turning away clients who weren't the right fit. even though he wasn't financially comfortable yet. The price of starting late was learning faster than others, carrying more pressure, being compared to competitors 5 or 6 years ahead. But that price also forged him. 1 year later, his startup was profitable. Not the kind of profit that made him a millionaire, but enough to pay his first 2 employees, enough to move into a small office instead of working at his dining table, enough to check his bank account without fear. The day he signed his biggest contract ever, he didn't shout. He didn't celebrate loudly. He just sat quietly for a moment, remembered the organizational restructuring email, remembered the Series C photo, remembered the night he decided, if I must fall, let me fall, while I still have time to stand up again. He didn't wait until the fear disappeared before acting. He acted while still afraid. And that was the only difference. Daniel didn't succeed because he was better than everyone else. He succeeded because he stopped waiting. And he accepted falling while he still had time to rise. He understood something. Delay does not make you safer. It only makes the cost of future failure more expensive. My friend, if you are in your own 60 days, a shaky job, knowledge in your hands, but still afraid to start, scrolling your phone and feeling your chest grow heavy, watching others move forward. Remember this: you don't need certainty to step forward. You only need to accept that if you fall today, you still have time to stand up again. Time does not last forever, but today, you still have it. And maybe that's all you need to begin. If this story resonated with you, subscribe to the channel so we can grow together every day through these lessons. Thank you for listening.